pictures of myself. Pick out dust them all, put them back up on the shelf. Kiss my little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still.
All right, welcome back, guys.
That song makes me feel way cooler than I probably am.
Right? Welcome back to another episode. We should listen to the chorus, shouldn't we?
Like my fucking theme song, man. When I walk in, I just want that to
Just to go on.
softly play behind me.
Well, it's like John Woo, like whenever he walks into a room, someone releases dubs. So,
this is 1966.
This could be your John Woo releasing dubs.
Yeah, I love it.
Welcome back, Fred.
What's happening, man?
We're recording this a day early.
Yeah. You got
Going to the zoo tomorrow.
zoo time. Cincinnati or Columbus?
Cincinnati, probably. That's a good question, Fred.
I think. who fucking knows? I don't know.
Let's talk about that on the podcast for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah. What zoo you're going to?
I don't know what else we're going to talk about.
Cincinnati's better, for the record.
Is it? So we had like a year-long membership to the Columbus Zoo and went a couple times. We basically like kind of barely paid for it, but we paid for it.
I think the deal is Cincinnati might be better. It's just easier to navigate. Columbus is a clusterfuck. And Cincinnati. First time I went to the Columbus Zoo, we ended up fucking. I don't know if I probably told you this before, but I took the kids there like last summer, I think, and we ended up. I don't know, man. We took the wrong fucking branch or something. We were looking at a bunch of shitbird animals. Like a fucking Mexican wolf. It was like a fucking big dog. Yeah. Then there was like sheeps and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Sheeps? At the zoo?
It was the North American exhibit or
something. To
some
be fair,
shit.
It is sheep, but I prefer sheeps.
Yeah.
I prefer
Sheep.
I prefer sheeps. But yes, sheep.
It was a bunch of fucking reindeers and shit, man. It was. I was like, where's the
I
bears
also
and
love
the
reindeers too.
A bunch of plurals.
I love your your really wonderful misunderstanding of plural.
Farm animals, plurals.
Plural animals. Plural animals. What is it? Isn't it octopi? You'd think it'd be octopussies, but it's not. It's octopi.
Tell you what, I'll never say an octopi. It's octopussies in my book, Jack.
It's octopussy from here on out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, I think we're going to start with UFC 216. That's the biggest news. There's nothing that's really come out as far as I'm aware. Really no big news. We'll talk about the Ferguson Verdum thing in a second.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's been any news. It's been kind of a slow, we had the week off. But nothing really happened.
Yeah, nothing major of no. No, you know what? There are a few things that happened. I guess not that it's really major, but Conor McGregor did the pay-per-view. His pay-for-play pay-per-view, which I went through the cat's timeline, and it was pretty fucking lackluster. Like, he broke down basically what was said, and pretty much it is he plans on defending the lightweight belt. He wanted to fight Paulie whatever the fuck in MMA. Malignaggi. And I think that was it, man. I looked through the cliff notes and there was nothing. You didn't learn anything from that. So, what do we got there? Frank Shamrock's going to grapple.
Yeah, I saw that one. So
Sakuraba.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. It's better for Sakuraba. I mean, a guy who's taken a lot of damage, like, this is probably your next step.
Yeah,
Start doing grappling stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell Frank Shamrock's doing, though. I don't think he's done nothing actively in years.
Isn't it because, like, that's the fight that never happened?
Well,
there was like this history.
I guess that's the point now, but I think Henderson was supposed to get it anyways, and I mean Frank's a fucking fill-in anyway. So
okay, yeah. But what was I thinking? Oh, like with Conor. A lot of people are complaining, of course, that he's not going to fight. We have this, quote, interim belt between Ferguson and Lee that's going to be taking place, and people take a big issue with the fact that Conor has yet to talk about it, okay?
Right.
And again, I think people keep getting, I don't know if it's amnesia or if people just aren't understanding what's happening here. Guys, their rules do not apply to him. And it's not that rules don't apply to him because he's an asshole. Rules don't apply to him because he makes more money than pretty much all UFC fighters combined. You attach his name to something, and he is going to increase it by 2 or 3 pay-per-views combined. Like, that's going to be his increase.
Yeah.
So he kind of just gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. And if you don't like it,
listen,
I tell people to stop watching MMA, I guess, because, I mean, that's why they're doing it.
Here's the deal, man. If people think that the UFC is on Nate Diaz's team, or that if they're doing him any favors by trying to give him the Conor fight, they're sorely mistaken.
No.
They're doing it because Nate sells himself properly. Here's the fucking reality, man.
More so, they're doing it because Conor wants to do it. If Conor said, I don't want to ever fight Nate Diaz ever again, he would never fight Nate Diaz ever again.
Yeah, probably. But
the UFC doesn't give a fuck. Whatever he says. If he says, hey, I want to go in there with a fucking polar bear and I want to try to jerk him off for 5 rounds, they'd be like, well, somebody go get a polar bear.
Now we're at that stage. But before, it wasn't quite there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before, when he first took the Nate Diaz fight, Nate Diaz got that fight because after he beat Michael Johnson live on Fox, he said, fuck you, Conor. You're still in my shine, motherfucker.
Sure.
And that literally is what got him that fight.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. And then fucking Nate beat him. You know what I'm saying? So, and I seen a lot of people. I was watching the MMA Beat this week, and they were having this very conversation, and the idea was that a lot of people were pissed, like, well, why would Nate get the fight? He's done nothing to merit the fight. On one hand, that is absolutely true. On the other,
he gets the fight.
He's got a fucking W over Conor.
He gets the fight because he beat Conor. That's all it comes down to.
Right, and they have a rivalry,
and more so, Conor says that's what he wants.
Well, back to my point,
that's all that matters.
Back to my point. What's going to be major this weekend? We're going to talk about UFC 216, so let's kind of segue into it anyways.
Yeah.
This weekend, we've got Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee fighting for the interim belt. Now, either one of those pricks probably will not get Conor, and will probably get the Nate trilogy, unless one of them have what I would like to call the double whammy. Okay. The double whammy is not only having a good performance in the fight, which you're going to need. Somebody's going to need to finish somebody or something for something good to fucking really, for them to actually get the Conor fight. But beyond that, and possibly even more important than that finish or performance in the fight, is what's said on the mic afterwards.
Sure.
If you can deliver something that captures the intrigue of us, Dana White and Conor, you'll get that fight. You'll leapfrog Nate.
I think the big thing is that you have to entertain Conor.
Yeah, well, for sure. You definitely want him to ask for it.
You have a monkey dance situation in that, again, I don't think this has anything to do with fans. Fans would watch Conor McGregor fight literally anybody. Literally anybody. Pick a name, put that person in there with Conor McGregor, it'll do 2 million buys.
Casuals would watch that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But there are millions upon millions upon millions upon millions more people who are not fans of MMA than there are of MMA.
True.
Okay.
True.
So
more casuals.
Those are the people you need to appeal to, and Conor McGregor appeals to them, and that's all that matters. So you put Conor in there with anybody, and it sells. So who he fights is irrelevant. So at the end of the day, it is whatever he wants. Now, it's not irrelevant in that if you're talking about what would do better,
right?
Nate 3 versus, Conor fighting Kevin Lee to unify belts.
Right.
Well, Jesus Christ, the Nate Diaz 3 is going to do a lot bigger numbers.
Depending on what happens this weekend. I truly believe that if somebody puts in a big performance and then really, like Kevin Lee, for instance, let's say him, because Kevin Lee, I think, has a bit more of an upside. I think he's a better talker. Quite frankly, I think he's a better fighter. I think he's going to win this fight. I very well could be wrong. I'm wrong most of the time.
I got Tony.
But we'll see. You know what I'm saying? But I think that he's got more upside, and I think that if he wins the fight impressively, if he's able to finish Tony, let's just say he submits Tony, and he gets on that fucking mic and says something clever and really, if after UFC 216, what you see on MMA Fighting and MMA Junkie is a quote from Kevin Lee calling Conor an Irish sissy or whatever the fuck, I think he gets that fight. I really think he can get it.
I think it's not even it's such a weird situation because I don't know if we've ever really had this before where one fighter is in so much control. Because Rousey, even though Rousey was such a huge name, there was really only so much to choose from. Mm-hmm. And a Rousey versus anybody doesn't do the same numbers that Conor versus anybody.
No, for sure.
Even in her heyday.
Sure.
She still had to kind of go through the pecking order to really, I think, have the big draw.
Let me ask you something. Side note, real quick, just for curiosity's sake. Everybody's talking about Conor's numbers and how great they are, and everybody assumes that they're going to be amazing coming off of the Floyd fight. What do you think the difference will be? So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Conor did average of 1 million pay-per-view buys before the Floyd fight.
Sure.
Coming back to MMA after the Floyd fight, what do you think the difference will be? Do you think it'll be 500,000, 250,000, or do you think it'll be basically the same?
I don't think he'll ever do less than 2 million ever again.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So you think it's going to be greatly increased from the Floyd thing?
I think
people
so.
that come back with him and actually purchase MMA pay-per-views.
All you need is less than half the people who watched that fight to buy his next one.
True.
That's it. Less than half.
What do we got over there?
So,
somebody commenting?
Oh, wow.
Ah, okay.
There it is. Oh, because of your hair?
Kirby Ferry. Yeah.
You do look like Uriah Faber.
Hey, fuck you guys. I'm bigger than Uriah, okay?
I don't know who said that, but I love it.
Uriah will kick my ass, but he's like 5'3" and fucking hills.
I don't know if he would kick your ass.
Oh, believe me, he'd kick my ass.
You think so?
Oh, for sure.
For sure. Some point, I am not one of these. Does become a little bit of an issue.
Well, yeah, if I was fucking 6'8". I'm 6'1". I'm not that much bigger than him. He'd throw me a beating from hell.
I just, when you walk, I'm used to being next to you and think like, because I'm so short.
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong. What the fuck? I think I might be able to hold my own for about 30 seconds.
I'm 5'8". I like to call myself a short 5'9". I'm a short 5'9". I'm a tall 5'8". I'm a short 5'9". Yeah. I feel like my beard makes me a little bit taller, so I'll take it from there.
Yeah. Stronger, maybe.
Yeah.
More powerful.
That's exactly what it is. It's more testosterone. But anyway, I think he doesn't go below 2 million ever again. Honestly, I think
really,
yeah.
You think him and fucking Tony? You think him and Tony or him and Kevin would do 2 million?
I think Conor McGregor and anybody. I'm telling you, this is my point about like people getting fights. Conor already knows who he's fighting.
So okay.
That's not a question. I don't believe that there is anything. I don't think if Conor McGregor's fighting the winner of this fight, that he's fighting the winner of this fight regardless. If he's fighting Jose Aldo at 150, then that's what he's doing. If he's fighting Max Holloway for featherweight, if he's fighting whatever his decision is,
you think it's already there?
It's already done. Nothing would change. If Kevin Lee went in there and curb stomped Tony Ferguson and then did like an Irish jig around the ring while like hiring a choir to stand behind him and sing whatever, nothing would change.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
If he fucking pulls out an Irish choir, I swear to fucking God he's getting that fight. I swear to God he's getting the fight.
Oh man.
I do think that you're right though. I think that Conor definitely comes back with a fuckload more power. I don't know about 2 million though. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think fucking 2 million is a bit of a fucking big number. So? Well, what do you think he does with somebody good then? Like, what do you think the max is? If you think 2 million is the minimum, what do you think he could fucking like? You think he could hit 3 with a Nate trilogy, or
so
if he fought Tyron Woodley and tried to get a third belt?
So I think the minimum and the maximum are pretty similar.
Okay.
So I think he gets 2 million. I think I think that's just where he is.
So you think it's just a him pack? So
I think it's just him. Again, I don't even think a more important fight matters. So I don't think. Again, I mean, whatever. I'm basing this off of practically nothing. Yeah. I mean, this is I'm just surmising.
Sure.
I don't think that Conor McGregor versus, give me just some kind of weird name.
What's like an obscure name?
Not even obscure, but like what's like under Khabib, Ferguson, Lee? Like what's like right under there at 155?
Fuck, I don't know. Edson Barboza.
Barboza. There you go. Just a weird name.
Fun fight.
I don't think McGregor Barboza does any more or less than Woodley McGregor for a 170 belt.
Oh no!
I really just think that at this point he has become a novelty. He's just a novelty.
I think I can buy that, but I do think your dance partner matters, man. I think if they got him in there with GSP or some shit like that, I think that would fucking.
I think your dance partner matters
if you're not fighting Conor McGregor.
If you're not Conor McGregor, I really think that at this point, like we have reached just this. He is a. It's because, and I guess this is some of the stuff that like Robin Black was trying to say about how Conor was going to change boxing and shit, which obviously didn't happen. But part of his, the stuff he was trying to say, a lot of it's still true, which is the way that we have always looked at things does not apply to Conor. And it's not just that he talks shit. There's more to it than that. It's not just that he talks shit.
True.
It's not just that he has kind of a prolific MMA style striking. It's there's something else there. There's something else.
But here's the thing. And I'm a huge Conor guy. I used to get shit. Fucking my homie English, God rest your soul, English, he used to fucking give me shit constantly about being a Conor nut hugger. I've been on the Conor train for a long time, but I've also been a fan of MMA for a long time. And MMA is a fucking dog-eat-dog sport. We love you when you're on top, but you better not lose, Jack. Let me tell you something. Chuck Liddell, Ronda Rousey, BJ Penn, fucking, Matt Hughes. Everybody at one point, Anderson Silva, everybody at one point in time was that guy, the Michael Jordan of our sport. What happens? Eventually they get a little slow. They get a little old. They get slept a couple times. Yeah. And we throw them away like old. Well, now, I do think that Conor's different. Don't get me wrong. Conor's different, and he's changing the game. But make no mistake about it. Conor does not want to overplay his hand now while he's in the driver's seat because he's 2 knockouts away from not quite being – will he always be popular? Sure.
Yeah.
Could you dig up Chuck Liddell and sell fucking probably 500,000 pay-per-view buys? Sure. But if he starts getting fucking knocked out and he starts pulling the Chael Sonnen route and all the shit he's saying isn't actually coming true,
Chael. Did you see?
God rest him. God bless him. Fucking Chael.
Did you see Chael when he beat Vanderlei?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I missed that one.
Did you? So you didn't know? You don't know what he did after when he got on the mic?
No.
Okay.
No, I completely missed that.
Okay. He beats Vanderlei. And he gets on the mic and he starts talking. And he goes, and I tapped out Tito Ortiz in less than 90 seconds. And he starts going on. And Tito, they pan to Tito, and he goes. He's like looking around, he's confused, and everyone's laughing. Like, I love how
Tito's not in on the joke and shit.
No.
He's like, wait a minute, man, that ain't how it happened.
He goes, I won,
guys, I won.
And Chael's like, still undefeated in Bellator, still undefeated. It's like at some point, it's still funny, though. Like,
exactly.
It still works.
But
this is what I love about Conor, because Conor gets a lot of hate. And, I mean, a lot of it for, I guess, good reason. I understand people who are hardcore MMA fans why you'd be like, fuck this dude.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, I don't want all these rules to change. I want some of this shit to stay the same.
Yeah.
What I like about Conor is that he does not get any respect for this. He took such a massive risk in fighting Nate Diaz that second time.
Yeah.
He loses in pretty ugly fashion. And he kind of just gets dismantled a little bit. I mean, granted, he landed just an incredible amount of strikes.
He pounded on him in that first round.
Yeah, I mean, he fucked him up. I mean,
in the first round,
real bad. Yep. And just completely gassed and just fell apart, okay? And immediately set up the rematch, immediately started, preparing, and fought in the same calendar year, right? Nothing changed. He didn't say, hey, let's move down in weight so that way I have more of an advantage here.
Right.
He kept everything the same. If he goes in and he loses that fight, which he almost did, had he not come out in that 4th round and somehow able to muster up the strength to do what 4th round, what he was able to do in that 4th round was like, I mean, it was I feel like people do not appreciate this. That if that 4th round doesn't happen, if he continues his decline like everybody thought he was going to, instead of being able to come out in the 4th and find something within himself to win that round, there is no Floyd fight. Floyd fight never happens.
Changes everything.
Floyd fight never happens. UFC loses this gigantic star. I mean, that was such a huge risk for him to take. And he took it, and it paid off. And I just think he doesn't get respect for that because people don't respect Nate. But what they also don't understand, and this is something that we talked about kind of in our recap, is that one of the biggest things I've learned over the last couple months here that I've really been kind of focusing on breakdowns is that holy shit, is it so incredibly, ridiculously true that styles make fights. It's unbelievable. It's so goddamn true.
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as MMA math. This whole thing, this guy beats this guy, so this guy's going to beat this guy.
Yep.
None of it's true.
Yep.
It is completely hindering on style.
Yeah.
And that's all that it is. And Nate Diaz's style and his ability to absorb shots will always be Conor McGregor's kryptonite forever. That is why Tony Ferguson is a way tougher fight than Khabib. Has nothing to do with how good Khabib is. It has to do with that is not his kryptonite. Wrestling is his kryptonite, but you have that weak a chin and that awkward of a takedown, you're getting slept.
Yeah.
Okay. A wrestler who's not as good as Khabib, but with a better chin and a little bit better technique as far as getting in there and not exposing your head.
Right.
They would obviously, that would be Conor's kryptonite, but
yeah. I mean,
styles make fights. That Nate Diaz fight, if they fought 10 times, it is always going to be an extremely difficult fight for Conor.
Yeah, for sure.
It will forever be a difficult fight because styles make fights, and that is his kryptonite.
Yeah, yeah. The Diaz brothers are tough though too in general. I think
that's what I'm saying.
Nate Diaz is a fucking tough out for most people. Even the people that beat on Nate Diaz, if you notice, he's still like smiling and giving them the bird at the end of the fight.
He's a guy who will lose a lot of decisions because he's able to make it.
Right,
but he's not necessarily very good.
He's only been finished once.
And Conor is incredibly one-dimensional, so that's the type of guy that Nate Diaz will be able to beat in a decision.
Yeah, which would be interesting. It would be interesting to see Conor employ a different game plan to his strategy too. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine if Conor
fix what ain't broke?
Yeah, that's true. But can you imagine,
especially now that his striking is going to be? We all thought his striking was good before. Well, he just fought one of the greatest boxers of all time.
I'm very interested.
His striking's going to be incredible.
I'm very interested to see how good his striking is and see what all the boxing practice did or what it didn't do for his kicking game and his overall
how
MMA
much it hurt his takedown defense.
Yeah,
that's
my
concern.
I'm really interested to see how all that shit pans
because
out.
Because what really helped him is that, because people always talk about how bad he would be against wrestlers. It's like, well, he's also really hard to take down because he is an anti-wrestler. He is a guy who has worked on takedown defense probably more so than just about anything else. So I like how we're just talking about Conor McGregor the whole time.
I was just thinking about that. I see the numbers dwindling, and I'm like, people are probably like, fuck these guys. Yeah. I put the hashtag UFC 219, and they're like, fuck you. Just getting us on to give your Conor nut hug fest.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the thing is I'm not even like, I have grown out of favor with Conor. I mean, I used to really be like, man, Conor's my dude, and I've really backed off because I'm just like, I want the sport to progress, and I think that he brings a lot of numbers, but he is a hindrance into finding out who's the best of the best, and so I really just kind of want his shadow to disappear from 45 and 55.
Well, I think that's going to get figured out, though. I mean, he's got to do something at some point. He's got to defend the belts. Like I think at this point, I would let him defend the belt too. They were actually making that argument. Like, would you, if you did give him the Nate Diaz fight over the winner of Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee, would you make it a title fight? Well, yeah, of course. What are you going to do? Let him fucking not defend the belt? Put the goddamn title on line. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. And just give fucking Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee the winner. And shit'll still pan out right. Might take it a minute to get around to the actual crowning of the champion, but oh well. A little four-man tourney never hurt nobody.
It's one of those things where
be all right.
If you're Lee and Ferguson and Conor fights Nate Diaz for a third time instead of fighting you when you have the interim belt, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I fans who are going to bitch about it, I get it. You're not wrong.
Right.
But none of this applies to whatever Conor wants to do. That's what he's going to do. And it's going to make a shit ton of money for the UFC, so they're going to do it. And that's it. That's all that there is.
I say
if it makes you feel better, if fans who are upset that Conor may not fight the winner of this fight, if it makes you feel better, just pretend Conor isn't the champion. Whoever wins between Ferguson and Lee is the real champion at 155 and call it a day. Who cares?
Yeah. Again,
honestly, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of, whoever wins that fight's kind of the champion to me.
See, I don't look at it like that at all.
I do.
Time does not really matter to me. I don't think Conor McGregor is going to retire. I don't think any of these four pricks are going to retire. So I don't really give a shit. If he does fight Nate first, who cares? These two pricks got to fight each other. Only one's going to win. Okay? Conor can come back and either fight that guy.
I guess the issue is that these two shouldn't be having to fight each other.
Yeah, true. But
Tony Ferguson should have fought for the title probably 18 months ago.
True, but I mean, listen. We can cherry pick fucking.
No, I get it.
So I mean,
it's true for
tough titty, says the kitty, and the milk ain't good. I mean, everybody's fucking had their problems with shit like that. You're right, no doubt about it.
Tough titty said the kitties is my favorite phrase of all time.
but you know what though? The problem with Tony Ferguson is too. He didn't get the Khabib fight.
Yeah,
that wasn't his fault.
Honestly, those two shouldn't have been fighting each other either.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean.
Fucking Conor went and boxed Floyd Mayweather. What are you going to do? I mean, that fucking threw a kink in the whole fucking combat sports realm.
So that's why I'm like, whoever wins out of this fight, like honestly, like I'm kind of looking as the champion. I think there's a very real possibility that Conor McGregor could fight Nate Diaz, potentially knock him out, and just say, "Fucking, I'm done." And so I'm just kind of like, whoever wins this fight is the champion. Max Holloway is clearly the champion of 145.
I give Max 45. I mean, 55 is Conor until he.
I think 55 is the winner of this fight, and if Conor fights one of those two, then great.
I'm actually really curious to see what's going on with Khabib too, man. I mean, I know he's out of commission, but like, it fucking is he? He's not retiring.
He has to move up to 170.
I mean,
he doesn't have a
he's
choice.
coming back.
He doesn't have a choice.
I don't think he's going to 170.
Has to move up to 170. He has to. He loses a huge advantage, but he has to.
I don't know, man.
Khabib versus Woodley.
I mean, I don't think they'll give him an immediate title shot. That would be
I'm
fun,
just saying.
though.
I'm just asking.
But you know what, though? I don't know, though, man. I don't know.
What does that fight look like, Khabib Woodley?
I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know if Khabib
is pretty big.
Yeah, but is he big at 70? I mean, he's big at 55, but being big at 55 and being big at 70, Tyron Woodley is a fucking animal. Tyron Woodley's fucking thighs are as big as that goddamn TV. What the fuck? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if, and Khabib's game is very fucking dependent on fucking grappling prowess and power. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that game would quite transfer to 170 like that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the rest of this card. So what has faded? Okay, so KGB was going to be making her debut in the UFC.
Right.
No longer happening. She has to be in the USADA pool for 6 months. So is what it is.
Yep.
Okay, Lando Veneta was going to fight Abel Trujillo. Abel Trujillo had to back out. Is Lando Veneta still on the card?
I do not think so.
Okay, let me look. Yes, Lando Veneta is fighting Bobby Green.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's a very winnable fight for Lando Veneta.
It's a good fight, though.
Yeah, it's a good fight. It's just very winnable. It's just very winnable for him.
For sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna start at the bottom of the card. Let's not talk too long unless it's something really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Matt Schnell Beltran. That's a good fight. I actually like that fight a lot. Matt Schnell has an anti-chin though. He doesn't just have no chin. He has whatever the opposite of having a chin is what he has.
He gets a strong wind.
Oh my gosh! Did you see the way he got knocked out in his last fight?
Who was it against?
Oh my gosh, who was it? Whoever it was one of the wonkiest knockouts. Like he got knocked out like on top or something. It was something ridiculous. Hector Sandoval.
Oh, okay. I do remember that fight.
He got knocked out in such a weird style.
Yeah, old anti-chin.
Okay, Brad Tavares, Talis Ladies.
Yeah, that's
it's a good fight. I give that to Ladies.
I give it to Tavares.
Okay, yeah. I guess I'm making these are my way too early predictions.
Yeah.
I'll have a better feeling next week.
I didn't even know these cats were fighting. The only reason Tavares is a little younger and Talis Ladies is a bit long in the tooth. I feel like if Tavares don't get wrapped up in a ground battle, he should be able to keep his distance and outpoint Talis Ladies.
All right, so we have Bibilotov taking on John Moraga. We really need to see this Russian dude, like...
He looks like Damian Maia's little step-cousin.
We really needed him to step up. I think a lot of people thought he was going to walk through his last opponent, and he really didn't. So we need him to step up. We need something else. We need something else at 125.
You mean Lion Jack.
And a lot of people were really counting on him. Okay, Walt Harris versus Mark Godbeer. That's a good fight because I am convinced that they are trying to set up Walt Harris and Justin Ledet. So
that'll be a fun fight if they can get that to happen.
I think that's what they want because they keep Walt Harris has now fought 2 of Ledet's opponents.
Yeah.
So usually that's
what they're building.
They
towards.
start trying to connect the 2 dots so they can show similar.
They're always good to snuff out a contender early with like that too.
Okay, Pearl Gonzalez is making her return. She's fighting, I believe, a UFC newcomer who is fine as hell.
I was going to say, I'm just going to be the most disgusting fucking sexist pig in the world and just say that I don't know nothing about either one of these broads, but they're both super hot.
I'm so sorry that I'm doing this right now, but she is fine.
Miss Paulina.
Jesus. Okay.
Miss Paulina and Pearl. Believe me, Daddy won't be missing that one. Jesus Christ.
Do not call yourself Daddy.
Just saying. Lost myself there.
All of a sudden, I look up. You're wearing like leather tassels. Okay. Lando Veneta, Bobby Green. I think that's a very winnable fight for Lando, but it's a good fight. It's a tough fight.
For sure.
I think it's very winnable for him.
Yeah, I think Lando's definitely the better striker, but I think Bobby Green probably packs a little more power. He should outstrike him. Yeah, he should be. He's the better fighter, but as we all know, sometimes the better fighter does not fucking win.
Will Brooks, Nick Lentz.
Good.
I hate Nick Lentz with a passion.
Good fight, though.
Would love to see that little fuck lose.
I think you're going to get what you want. I think
Nick Lentz is a gigantic fucking turd. So
what about Will Brooks?
I really hope
Let's stop for just a moment here. What's Will Brooks' record since getting to the UFC?
Oh, he's lost every fight.
Has he lost? He won one, didn't he? Did he win one? Yeah, he beat Ross Pearson.
He beat Ross Pearson.
And that was his first one, right?
Yes.
And then who'd he drop to?
He got knocked out by Alex Oliveira. That was the one, and he broke his rib, I think.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of some bullshit.
And then he got choked out by Charles Oliveira.
Okay.
After Oliveira, I believe, missed weight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did Oliveira miss weight for that one?
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I did feel like there was a weird little stink with each one of his fights. The one was the weird rib injury, and the one, I think he missed weight.
Oh, he made weight.
Did he?
He missed weight. That was him going up to 155.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that was him going up to 155.
Maybe it was the other cat that missed weight or something. I do feel like there's something happening. Yeah, Alex, the fucking Brazilian cowboy, he missed weight by a big long shot, and then he ended the fight with the rib shot. And I remember thinking,
and then at the end of the fight, he did the chop crotch.
Yeah. If you're fucking 13 pounds heavier, you prick.
Okay, moving on up. I'm gonna skip that fight for a second because I want to talk about it. Okay, Evan Dunham, Benil Dariush. That's a good fight.
Yeah, that's a solid fight.
Verdum, Derek Lewis, fantastic fight.
That's a great fight.
Verdum should beat Derek Lewis.
Do you want to take a moment right now to talk about him and Tony, or do you want to push that?
Yeah, let's talk about him and Tony.
I mean, listen, there's not much to talk about.
Can we also say that Verdum has eaten things the size of Tony Ferguson?
Yeah, so there's a lot to digest here, right? You got to hand it to Tony. He's got some fucking stones on him.
Good job.
I'm not a Tony Ferguson fan, but I got to say, in that moment, I'm like, get you some, Tony. Shit, like, enough of fun. Fabricio kept running his mouth, and I give it to Tony. It looked like he was trying to be, professional. He's, excuse me, bro. Excuse me, I'm trying to talk. Excuse me. He's like, yeah, okay. He wasn't listening. And eventually he stood up like, what the fuck you say, motherfucker? Call me. I know what Mary Comb means.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean faggot?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought it meant. I knew that word was getting thrown around a lot.
Yeah, it's basically just like a negative connotation for gay.
Yeah, right.
So, now he's doing like community outreach classes and shit.
Who?
Verdum.
Is he? Good. That's like the fucking second time he's went on a fucking anti-gay tirade, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to watch that shit, man.
Quite frankly, I don't want to fucking start hurling shit around here, but I think the Brazilians in general need to calm down with their anti-gay shit. Yeah. Fucking Big Nog was quoted in saying that he didn't like rolling with gay guys either. And calm down, Nog. Nobody's wanting to play with your balls.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to suck your dick. That's the thing about people who are like homophobic. Like,
when you're rolling with
nobody wants you. Nobody wants you. Okay, so chill the fuck out.
All the homophobic guys are always the gross, ugly ones.
Yeah, and they always think like, oh, people like I don't want to go to a gay club because I've been to gay clubs.
Yeah,
I'm ugly as fuck. You think these guys are coming up trying to grab my nuts?
They're not.
No, they're like, why is he here?
Cool beans, dude. We're good on
you. Like, wait, no,
you're gonna be fine.
No, we're fine. Yeah. And even if you are attractive, people don't just start listen, they're not you.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would go into a club and try to grab women.
Exactly.
So you don't have anything to be afraid of.
Yeah,
you're afraid of yourself. Right? You're afraid of a version of yourself because that's what you would do. Don't apply that to other people.
Who won that? Who comes out of the Fabricio Verdum Tony Ferguson?
Oh, nobody.
Did anybody look better or worse for you?
I don't think so. I watched the clip like twice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ferguson looks like he looks weird. He looks uncomfortable during it. And Verdum just looks like an asshole. Just like, I don't know.
I would argue that Tony won that one because
probably
he stands up to the huge Brazilian and like Tony's like, oh yeah, big guy, fucking 280 pounds over here, fucking picking with the lightweight.
He goes, "Did you hear me?" He goes, "I'll ankle pick you." He goes, I'll ankle pick you right now.
Yeah. I think Tony Ferguson showed some kahunas, and I think most casual dickheads watch that and go, "Hey, he's badass."
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, we're talking about the casuals here, man. I think they see that and they go, "Fuck yeah, man!" He stood up to a heavyweight.
To be fair, no casual fan saw that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Unless that shit made ESPN's top 10.
That's true.
Nobody
Tony Ferguson and Fabricio Verdum's media scrum.
It's like might as well be named Jeremy Stevens.
That's true.
Demetrius Johnson, quote unquote.
Hold on.
The picture.
Yeah,
dude, I loved it.
I gotta say,
everyone's like, "Oh, it's too late." It's not too late.
It's never too late
for that joke.
To the day?
I think so.
Was that true?
I think so. Can you grab me that soda? I think so. I think that was part of the joke.
For anybody who might not know, we're referring to a picture that Jeremy Stevens took with Conor McGregor's mom after his last fight.
And he said something like, "Ask her who the fuck I am,"
or she knows who I am.
She knows who I am.
Something
That's
like
so
that.
Funny.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Good on you, Jeremy Stevens. Win a fight, go get married, and take a picture with the old dude's mom.
There it is.
What a fucking way to end out the year for Jeremy Stevens.
Is the Demetrius Johnson-Ray Borg fight happening?
Who gives a fuck about this fight? I swear to God, I feel about this fight about like I feel about the fucking Bisping St. Pierre fight. I'm just ready to get over with, man. I'm just ready to get past this so we can. Quite frankly, I hope DJ loses. I hope he gets upset just to teach everybody in the MMA sphere a lesson.
I hope that Ray Borg does make weight this time because I think he will. I think that's why he pulled out last time is because he was going to miss weight.
Can you imagine if he doesn't make weight?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
But I think he was going to miss it last time. I think he'll be fine this time. I think he'll make weight. I predicted he would miss weight last time. Or I predicted the fight wouldn't happen,
right?
Which it didn't happen.
Yep.
And
nailed that.
I predicted he would miss weight if it were to even go in that way. But I think I said he'd be in the hospital, and that is what happened. Although, because he was quote sick. Do I have to do this rant one more time?
Yeah.
Should I do it one more time since it's about ready to end?
Yeah.
If you believe that Ray Borg was sick, and that is why he pulled out of that fight,
you're probably a Ray Borg
Give me
fan.
a call. Give me a call. Send me a private message on Twitter. My DMs are open. Send me a message because I have tons of friends who sell shit like Advocare. Like, listen, I want to get you signed up. I think you'd be perfect for it. So reach out to me. Let me know.
Well, Avon.
If you believe that, you're a fucking moron. Either you're a moron or you're extremely naive. I don't know.
Or a Ray Borg
you're
fan.
One of the two. Or just a Ray Borg fan, which who the fuck? Ray Borg doesn't have a Ray Borg fan. Ray Borg isn't a Ray Borg fan.
Ray Borg fans. Ray Borg doesn't have fans. That's
Ray
so
Borg,
rude.
Ray Borg is not a Ray Borg's family isn't a Ray Borg fan.
It's true. They're not picking him against DJ. That's
No.
for sure. That's why I almost feel like he might win, though. Every time something like this
I hope
happens,
he does win because
I swear.
kind of fuck DJ, man. Like he has completely fallen out of my graces.
Yeah,
I'm done with it.
He just needs better competition. I know that's not really his fault at 25.
No,
but
he is not interested in it. He's not
Yeah.
interested in better competition.
Yeah.
Certainly not at this point. He had a chance. He chose not to because he wanted to get a record, and that's it.
Well,
I don't necessarily fault him for it, but I certainly am not going to pat him on the back for beating Ray Borg.
Right.
I hope he fucking loses.
Right.
I think he kind of deserves it.
I really think this is not the smartest idea for DJ, too, because it's a fucking lose-lose. Dude, DJ could come out there and fucking hop in the air and do a 360 fucking 720 tornado kick and break Ray Borg's jaw. Swear to Christ he could. And everybody be like, true. Like, no matter what DJ does in this fight, his status will not be elevated.
Okay, I will disagree slightly. I will say that if DJ comes out and gets a dramatic finish, I think that could elevate him. It would need to be pretty dramatic. It would need to be a pretty dramatic showing to really do much of anything.
See, I don't think so.
If he goes out there and gets a decision, his stock goes down.
Oh, for sure.
His stock goes down in a 5-round decision.
I'm telling you, man.
He has to finish him.
Yeah, for sure. I think his stock goes down regardless.
He finishes him in the 3rd round by getting a guillotine or some shit.
It's not. That's what I mean.
It just stays the same.
Yeah, he has to.
He needs to get a 1st-round spinning back fist.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Something that can be a highlight reel.
And even then, he's not going to get.
He
much
needs a
out
Lando Veneta type.
Yeah,
fucking spinning
or,
heel kick.
What was the kid's name? Pico de Gallo.
And Aaron Pico.
Yeah.
Pico de Gallo.
Fucking one-punch hitter quitter and fucking just sleeps Ray Borg.
He needs
but even
something
then,
like that.
People will just go, what was Ray Borg?
But he's never even really had a finish like that before. So it's
he's had,
even like Henry Cejudo wasn't that.
Joseph Benavidez, he did knock out with
the
one punch. And that was Joe.
They play highlights.
Before that fight, Joe gave him a very tough fight. So that was,
draw.
I guess that's my point too. If that fight didn't kind of give him that elevation, he's just going to have to go to 35, man. He's going to have to bait Cody or DJ or Dominic into coming down, or he's just got to take his funny ass up.
He already baited TJ into coming down.
Or Cody too, I think, right? I think Cody said that, like.
But TJ,
he's willing.
TJ and Cody were going to fight.
Right.
Cody had to pull out.
Right,
TJ was going to.
TJ was
he already
ready to make
baited
the
him.
trip, right.
And said, "Nah, I'm good."
But so here's just the question then: do you think that DJ really is that concerned with just the record? Like, so
Yes.
once this is out of the way, do you think he would have taken the CJ fight?
Yes.
Fair enough. So you don't think he's worried about fucking up his legacy or not? He just wants to get this one.
He wants to break the record, then I think he'll fight anyway.
Okay, fair enough, man. Fair enough. If he does that, long as after this fucking horse shit here, his next fight better fucking be somebody.
If after this fight he fights Jussier Formiga or some shit,
fuck that.
Yeah,
fuck
then I'm kind of done.
I feel you. Yeah,
yeah. He has to fight somebody.
I completely agree. I'm not thrilled about this, but I'll pay for it. You'll get my money. Yep. But after this, after you beat Ray Borg, I want you at 35, or I want Cody coming down. I want something to get excited about for DJ. Or I'm not paying him no more fucking money. Fuck it, I won't buy his next goddamn fight. Put that shit on Fight Pass.
We already talked about Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee quite a bit. There's really nothing really to talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a good fight.
You like Tony. I like Kevin.
Yeah, I like Tony. I think Tony's a bit more well-rounded, and he has the toughness.
Kevin Lee is undefeated too, right? Is he undefeated?
No, he has 2 losses.
Oh, does he? Shit.
And I think he has a loss in the UFC. Did he lose to Beneil Dariush or something stupid like that? Okay, he lost to Leonardo Santos. He got knocked out by him. He also lost to Ala Quinta.
Oh, man.
Because there's only 2 losses.
Yeah. I don't love that.
Okay. Now let me look at Tony Ferguson.
I know he's got the loss to Michael Johnson.
Tony Ferguson has lost to Michael Johnson. And then early in his career.
Yeah.
2 guys.
I'm not going to. I don't even care about those. The Michael Johnson loss is the one that I actually kind of can recall.
But he lost a decision to Michael Johnson.
And that was a while back.
He's never been knocked out. Even his other 2 losses were by he got submitted, but again, that was by James Toney.
Well, that's not the James Toney. Let's assume it's not the same James Toney that got ankle picked by fucking.
Look,
Jamie Toney.
Jamie Toney.
Yeah, not quite James Toney.
I don't know why I saw the name and I was like, who?
Like, son of a bitch. James Toney's back. He's fucking submitting Tony Ferguson. What the fuck?
That was the connection I made in my head.
Craziness.
I was like, what?
It was only James Toney I could think of.
I know, me too. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so that's a good fight, though. But I guess the only thing that really makes that fight intriguing is who gets to fight Conor.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it's the Conor sweep.
Okay, so here's the fight we didn't talk about. Tom Duquesnoy fighting Cody Stamann. I absolutely hate this matchmaking. I despise it. These are 2 really incredible prospects.
Right.
Both just fantastic prospects at 135 too. You know, like 135 is doing better than 125, but 135 still needs people.
Yeah.
And you're going to put 2 prospects, 2 not just prospects, but 2 really, really good prospects. You're going to put them against each other after they've had 1 fight in the UFC? Fuck, man. Like, give them a chance.
Yeah.
Make this fight mean something. You know, like let both these prospects get 2 or 3 wins, and then have them go at each other to kind of prospect kill the other. Don't kill off one of your prospects this early on, and you're not fully killing it off. Listen, you lose to Tom Duquesnoy or you lose to Cody Stamann,
right?
You're fine.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, and you're fine, and you keep moving forward.
Right.
But you are risking hurting prospects here. I just don't think it's a good fight. I think it's a really bad fight.
It's a great fight, but it's bad
It's a fantastic fight.
Bad matchmaking.
And
You're
here's
right. Just too soon.
It's also really bad for Tom Duquesnoy here, because if there's a bigger name of these 2, Tom Duquesnoy is definitely the bigger name.
For sure.
Cody Stamann might wrestle fuck him to death, honestly.
Yep. I agree
Cody
with you.
Stamann could take Tom Duquesnoy down quite a few times.
Could backfire on the UFC and take a little stank out of Duquesnoy's cell when he's got a lot of fucking hype right now, because I'm pretty high on him too.
And I think Tom Duquesnoy is the better fighter, but I think Cody Stamann's I think he's going to beat him.
Yeah. The better
he's going to beat him.
The better fighter does not always win in MMA. The better fighter does not always win.
Styles make fights.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this is stylistically not a great fight for Tom Duquesnoy.
Yeah.
And again, Tom Duquesnoy is fantastic.
But right.
And I think he has a good career ahead of him.
Styles make fights.
Yeah, I just don't think that this is a great matchup for him. And unless he can really, really outstrike Stamann. I mean, that's what it will come down to.
Yeah, you'd have to hurt him.
He has to really hurt him early, go to the body, keep him from, tire him out. Because at the end of the day, that's the wrestler's kryptonite, is that if you are able to tire them out, they can't get those takedowns. And they don't have the striking to support.
You know what I love about MMA, man? One of the things I love about MMA, it's almost like a little bit like American football, in that, sometimes in American football, the league is dominated by passing and receiving, and then sometimes it's dominated by teams who strictly run. With MMA, man, you see these ebbs and flows and tides of flows of like strikers kind of running shit where Anderson Silva's on top and, you know, having good takedown defense and immaculate striking is where you're at. And then you also have, you know, eras where people like Matt Hughes or, you know, fucking, not that Damian Maia ever was a champion, but you know what I'm saying? The grappling type fucking situations where those fighters are the ones that are at the top of the heap and kind of running with their shit. Yeah. Shit's always going to change depending on what people are doing. So,
yep. That was pretty much all for that card.
Yep, that's 216. 216 is a good card, though.
I mean, let's look ahead a little bit. I'm kind of interested, kind of what do we have coming up here? What is the next? You know what I'm interested in? Because Bellator had a really big showing.
Listen.
So let's talk about the next Bellator card now.
I'll tell you what.
The main event is fantastic.
Yeah, and that's a very important fight for Bellator. The main event is Gegard Mousasi and Alexander Shlemenko. This is a super fucking important fight for Bellator and Gegard because a lot of the guys that Bellator have signed, a lot of these UFC signings haven't quite panned out like we thought they would, right? Benson Henderson ended up kind of not really fucking panning out like we thought he would. Fuck, even Roy Nelson, fucking who just fought on this last Bellator card, damn near lost. He barely fucking won that fight. You know what I'm saying? And that was a fight that Roy Nelson probably should have. I assume that was a fucking softball lob at him, a guy we'd never heard of.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to treat it as, and I don't know if it worked out that way.
Sure shit didn't. What the fuck? Roy barely won the fight.
Yep.
And so now you got Gegard, somebody else that they're fucking probably, I presume, you know, presumably putting a lot of money in, a lot of stock in. I think he steamrolls Alexander Shlemenko, but you know, they need him to look impressive in this fight.
Well, and they gave him a really cool opponent.
I mean, they can't. They couldn't have done it better. This is a fight he should win. It's a fighter that should strike with him and should oblige him at his strong suits. But man, this is why we love MMA, right? Gegard Mousasi should beat fucking Shlemenko 9 out of 10 times, but there's always that fucking 10th time where dude just catches him with something. You know, fuck. Gegard Mousasi lost the goddamn Uriah Hall.
Yeah.
By spinning fucking back kick. Yep. Shit happens, man. I doubt it, but I tell you what, Bellator is probably fucking praying to the MMA gods that Mousasi looks good in that fight, and they can actually, you know, build on their investment with that fucking dude.
Okay, so Liam McGeary is fighting King Mo in the co-main.
That's a fun fight.
It is.
King Mo gets on my nerves, though, man. I feel like he's...
King Mo has to take... If King Mo can take Liam McGeary down a whole bunch, and then it's all over. I mean, that's really all he has to do.
I always felt like King Mo was going to end up being a lot better than he ended up being.
Yeah.
Like, I thought King Mo was really, you know, somebody not to be trifled with, and then he always just kind of ends up fucking dropping them.
I was trying to look through. He's lost to Rampage.
Right.
He's lost to Emmanuel Newton twice.
The punk rock kid. That's what started the end for King Mo for me. I was really high on King Mo until the two Emmanuel Newton fights, and then I was like, okay, true. Maybe King Mo ain't exactly who I thought he was.
And he's stayed in Bellator the whole time, so it's really hard to know how he compares over.
He's fought some good guys, though.
Yeah.
I mean, for being not in the UFC, he's definitely got pretty decent level of competition.
I'm excited to watch Heather Hardy here.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
And Heather Hardy's 1-0, and guess the record of the opponent she's fighting.
Fucking like
0-0.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like Bellator actually does know how to build up a prospect, and not feed them to someone with 10 professional MMA fights.
Scott Coker's good for that, man.
Well, he
knows
fucked up with Aaron Pico.
Fair enough.
I mean, that was my point.
Fair enough.
It's like you obviously know what you're doing.
Yeah, he doesn't drop them all. Listen, you do what you do. He tried to do it with Roy Nelson. Sometimes shit don't pan out right either. You know what I'm saying? They threw that motherfucker a softball, and he didn't fucking quite knock it out of the park. Is Heather Hardy? I know she's the boxing broad. Is she the broad from like New York or New Jersey?
Oh yeah, she does it for me.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. She does not do it for me.
You don't like that? That really harsh.
Oh God,
she reminds harsh New Yorker.
She reminds me of like an escort. I'm not gonna bullshit you. She reminds me of she reminds me of a prosy.
Oh shit, a prost. As they said. Do you watch True Detective?
Oh yeah.
Season 1.
Season 1. I didn't watch season 2. Season 1 was with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah,
Fuck,
so good.
that was a good show.
One of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
It was a really good show. I swear to God, HBO be putting out the fucking hits,
they do.
Man. They do.
You've been watching The Deuce. I have not been.
Yeah, that's really good too, man. And the 4th episode premieres tomorrow.
Game of Thrones is just one of the greatest shows ever.
I can go on and on about the fucking HBO, dude. I am
Silicon Valley.
Yep, fuck with
Love Silicon
I pretty
Valley.
much watch all their shit, but like I started watching their shit back in the day with like The Sopranos and The Wire, 6 Feet Under, Deadwood, and I've been on their shit since then, man. All those shows are the shit.
Okay. Where did I pull that up at? Heather Hardy. Yeah, I don't know. It works for me.
She's a little sleazy looking for me, but I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, I wouldn't fucking.
Is Brendan Ward the one that was supposed to fight?
Brendan Ward's the dude that fucking.
Oh, he got got shit canned by Paul Daly.
Oh, yeah.
That was that like knee of death.
Yep.
It was voted. Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
Number 1 best MMA knockout of 2017. Oh no, dude, he got.
That's not what you want to be the other guy for.
Woo! And then he goes in and gets choked out by Fernando Gonzalez.
I don't even remember that fight. I didn't catch that one.
Neither did I.
Man, Fernando looked a little pudgy.
He got choked out by that. That's the guy that had that really ugly fight with Michael Page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then would beat Brendan Ortiz by decision. But that kind of shows you how good Michael Page is, though, because that guy was winning pretty soundly against people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Michael Page, pretty much.
Man, Michael Page hasn't fought since November of 2016. You can't build up a brand and not fight.
Yeah,
you got to fight.
Yeah.
You can't get away with not fighting.
Are they still trying to do the Paul Daly fight or what?
I don't know, but he hasn't fought since he had that really, really ugly fight. He fought Fernando Gonzalez in one of the worst MMA fights that we've really ever seen. It was horrendous.
I don't love the Paul Daly fight for him either.
No,
coming back off a layoff like that.
No,
Paul Daly only needs one.
Yep.
That's a decent card though for Bellator. That's a decent
man.
card for
Bellator. That's Brendan Ward is on that one.
I'm stoked for this card.
That's the main card. Is those 4 fights?
Yeah. You know how Bellator is. Once you get down 4 or 5, Jack, this ain't the UFC.
Here's a guy right here. Here's the guy to pay attention to, Cats.
Jordan Young.
Why? Pay attention to this guy.
Why should we pay attention?
He's
to Jordan
fantastic,
Young?
and he is a massive welterweight. He is massive. Okay.
Grappler, striker.
He is 6'4".
Good God.
With a 77-inch reach, and he does not have a very difficult time cutting weight.
Jesus Christ, he's a welterweight?
Yeah, I believe. Let me just make sure that his last fight. No, he's a middleweight. Sorry, why did I say? Well, God, welterweight would be massive. But he is a very.
That's a big middleweight.
He's a very big middleweight.
Yeah.
He's a very, very big middleweight.
That's like Luke Rockhold status.
Yeah, he's a big middleweight. I don't think he has too hard of a time cutting the weight. He had a short notice opponent, and he had to fight at a catch weight of 195. So he's obviously cutting.
Right.
But but yeah, I mean, he's just a big boy, and he's just put on good fights. I mean, really, that's all it is. Yep. The last 2 guys he fought had never lost before. One was 8-0, one was 7-0.
Good strength of competition then.
Yeah, but now he's 6-0.
Yeah.
So he's kind of building up, and they're giving him some good competition. And yeah, I mean, he's never fought anybody with a losing record. And except for his first 2 fights.
What are you gonna
his
do,
first 2 fights were losing records. Other than that, he's never fought anybody with a losing record, and that's a good sign. And he's also fought his last 2 fights in Bellator, and has one finish in Bellator. So that's a good sign too, right?
Sure.
So I've talked to him more than once. I think he's really good. I think he's a really good fighter. I watched him in his last fight. I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing it. Neiman Gracie, I like how they put him at the very, very beginning. Is he the one that had that really ugly fight last time out? No, he choked somebody out their last fight.
Yeah, it's hard.
Why is he so buried?
It's hard to keep track of all these fucking Gracies.
All the Gracies. You also don't there's like legit Gracies versus kind of
second, third cousin Gracies.
Yeah, where it's like, calm down. It's like, I don't want to say you're not a real Gracie, but you're not a real Gracie.
Yeah, exactly.
So the card that's after 216,
this is a woofer,
is Cerrone Darren Till is the headliner.
That fight will be fun.
The fight will be fun. I don't know if that's what you should be. I don't know if that's what you should have, headlining a card. but it'll be a good fight.
I mean, if Darren Till wins, I guess it kind of pays off. But
Kolakevich is fighting somebody who I've never even heard of.
Yep.
Wow, she's falling off a cliff a bit. The girl's Tapology picture looks like she's taking a selfie. That's not a good sign. She's lost. She was on the Ultimate Fighter season 23, and she lost to Ashley Yoder, and then went back to Invicta and lost to Alexa Grasso. Her last one was a split decision in Invicta. And that's who's fighting Carolina Kolakevich.
Hey, listen.
She's a piece. They want to build her back up.
I was going to say, we can't be bitching about everything. We tell them to build them up. We got to build her up.
They want to build Kolakevich back up. Okay, Jan Blachowicz is fighting Devin Clark. I like that fight.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
It's a good fight. Artem Lobov is fighting Andre Fili.
Hey,
you know I love that fight.
Look, old Artem.
You know I love that fight.
Yeah, I actually kind of like touchy-feely in that fight, too, thank God.
I'm all about that fight.
There he is. Am I reading that right?
Say it again?
Is it Jimmy Manuwa?
Yeah, this is an unconfirmed rumor. Jimmy Manuwa is fighting, I think this is an old school dude.
Some old Polak.
There's something
This
there.
card is in Poland, too. That should be stated for the
Yes.
record. So there's a lot of Polish fighters and a lot of European fighters.
I don't know who this guy is, but I feel like I'm supposed to know who he is.
He's got one of those names where it just looks like you fucking took a Scrabble board and threw it against the screen.
Yeah.
Bunch of fucking random letters and Z's and
he has
shit.
a record of 22-9-1. One of his losses being against King Mo, of all things.
Obviously.
Samilyakov is fighting Adam Wierznik. It's a kind of a throwaway fight.
Yep.
Don't know either of those guys. Well, I know Trevor Smith, but I don't know who the other guy is.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't know if I care.
It's starting to look like a Bellator undercard.
Yeah, Jonathan Wilson is fighting some dude. Brian Keller is fighting Stasiak. That's not a bad fight.
Yeah.
Marcin Held is back on the card.
Okay, fair. That's fine.
Versus Timu Packlin. I like that fight, actually. That's a good fight.
Yeah, maybe old Marcin will get a heel hook first.
Yeah, there you go. Jim Molehead's fighting Morley Alves.
That'll be fun.
It's a good fight. Josh Emmett is fighting Felipe Arnitas.
Yeah.
I'll accept it.
Yep.
And Aspen Ladd is fighting Lena Landsberg. That's a good fight, too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Not bad.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. I mean, listen, for a fucking, random fucking middle of the day Polish card on is that a Saturday?
Something like that.
Fair enough. Usually pop those cards on your fucking Sunday afternoon or some shit.
Right.
There he is. The fucking Dragon's back. UFC Fight Night 119.
I want to look ahead to. Let's look at. Let's talk. Can we talk real quick about what is the legacy? I'm interested in your opinion. What is the legacy of Ben Askren? Because he's getting ready to retire.
None.
What is his legacy?
None. I got none.
How long have you been watching MMA?
I've been watching it since he got into the sport.
See, that's kind of my point, because anybody who says, like, someone be like, yeah, Ben Askren, there's nothing there. People go, well, casuals or noobs, or you haven't been paying attention to the sport, this and that. You're extremely knowledgeable. Sure. You've been watching MMA a lot longer than I have. I mean,
here's the deal with Ben Askren. I
think the talent's most certainly there.
Well, it's hard to fucking tell. He's got a couple really good wins early in his career, and as soon as Bellator started getting jumping, as soon as they started getting some real talent there, and believe me, I'm not saying that he left because real talent was coming. Quite contrarily, I think he left because he thought Bellator would never end up where it was. I think he thought, fuck the UFC, I don't really want to do business with them, and I don't think Bellator is ever going to give me the challenges I want, so why not go to China and get millions of dollars and crush cans? It just backfired on him.
They gave him a fucking Lamborghini.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Tons of money.
But then
none of it paid off. I don't give a fuck about one.
Bellator still had was a fucking what was the prick's name before Coker, man? The guy that ruined all that fucking shit.
It starts with a B.
Bjorn, yeah, Bjorn, whatever.
Revny.
Bjorn Revny. So Bellator still have Bjorn Revny and that whole shit when Ben Askren fucking flew the coop way back then. So I think he overplayed his hand, man. I think he thought that Bellator was kind of going to end up going the way of the dinosaur, fucking Strike Force, ended up getting bought out, and they made the right changes, brought in Scott Coker, and, I don't know what they're doing quite now, but they're, still trudging along. So my point is, since then, he's fought nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, this next fight with Shinya Aoki will probably be his fucking toughest fight to date since then.
Which is saying nothing.
No. I mean, Shinya's a 55er, man. I mean, and I was a big fan of Shinya Aoki's back in the day because, I tell you what, his grappling, if you ever get bored, look up a fucking Shinya Aoki grappling on YouTube. His fucking grappling is nasty. Even like in jiu-jitsu tournaments and shit, like he was fucking known for like breaking people's shit. Like his grappling was fucking top notch. But he also wore those fucking pants too, man. He was known for wearing the weirdy beardy pants that would fucking like kind of give you that grip and shit. In the UFC, they don't let you wear them, but in Japan and Dream and Pride and all that bullshit. Or I don't think Aoki fought in Pride. It was just Dream.
Okay, so here we are. Let's talk about Ben Askren. So, record 17-0. Okay.
It's a little misleading.
Of course. 17-0. Okay. We have Aoki is who he's fighting next. He is the co-main event.
Who's the main event?
Angela Lee.
Oh, fair enough. Angela Lee is an animal.
Okay.
He's such a shitbird. He's still the co-main event.
He's the co-main event in his retirement fight. Okay?
And one FC. Or one.
Okay. The fight before that was against a guy who was 9-3. The guy who was 9-3 had lost in 2017 by getting choked out.
I don't think he's fought. If I could be mistaken, but I don't think he's fought anybody of note since he's been in one.
Let me look.
I mean, like literally nobody.
In one FC, he has fought nobody.
I mean, like literally nobody.
12-2, 11-1. Jesus, one of the guys he fought was 61-9-1. I mean, who is this guy? Luis Santos, 63-10-1 now. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, keep fighting those guys.
It wound up being a no contest. He had 2 no contests in a row. Just nothing. I don't recognize any of these people's names.
So
let's go down to Bellator.
Yeah,
here.
let's see. How far back do you got to go to find the name you recognize? That's a Douglas Lima. There you go. That's a important win.
Okay. I mean, this is a big name here, but
yeah. When
Korskov here.
Yeah. When was that fight, man? That was fucking.
It's been a minute.
A long time.
Also
ago.
lost to Douglas Lima though.
Those were his biggest wins. Those were his biggest wins of his fucking career.
The biggest win of his career, if I'm looking at this, the biggest win of his career was Douglas Lima.
Yep, by a long shot, by a country mile.
Going back in his record, yeah. I mean, that is literally
no doubt.
Go back in his record,
and that's a good win, but no doubt, by far.
2 of his wins are against the same person back to back.
Yeah,
he choked out Ryan Thomas in the first round, and then fought him immediately again and beat him by decision.
Mm-hmm.
Then he fought Dan Hornbuckle.
Yep. I remember this fight. At the time,
he's 5-0 at this point.
Right.
And Hornbuckle's 21-2.
I remember.
That's a big deal.
I watched that fight. Don't get me wrong. Dan Hornbuckle was kind of a beast at that time, but still, that wasn't the UFC. It wasn't fucking Dan Hardy or George St. Pierre. I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong. It was an okay fight at that time, but if we're talking fucking legacy here. That's not what you build a legacy
and he also
on.
fought him at the exact right time.
Yeah, for sure. He was long in the tooth.
Before Ben Askren, before he bought Ben Askren, he hadn't lost in 2 years.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
When he lost to Ben Askren, he would then lose
every other fight.
7 of his next
5 or
9.
9. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he fought him at the exact right time.
I don't mean to shit on Ben Askren.
Well, hold on. Let's keep going through. Lyman Good is a decent win as well, but again,
sure, decent.
Lyman Good then went over to the UFC this year,
thunder creamed,
and lost to that Zieski dude.
Yeah, to a dude we've never heard of.
To a dude we've really never heard of.
Right.
Okay, so let's keep moving on. Okay, Nick Thompson had a lot of fights.
The GOAT.
Not
the GOAT. I think it's like the Billy Goat. He's definitely not like the.
But again, Nick Thompson has a lot of wins here. But
yeah, but that, like I said,
he had one fight in the UFC where he got punched out in the first round.
He was the Billy Goat.
Okay, so let's just kind of keep going through here. Jay Heron. Okay. See, I recognize I recognize some of these names.
Yeah, I remember these fights, man. They were
so again
kind of big at the time.
Ben Askren beats him by split decision. He then goes to the UFC and loses his only 2 fights.
Yeah.
Granted, it was against Jake Ellenberger and Tyron Woodley, but that's the point.
Right.
The point
Right.
is
Exactly.
the point is that you were not good enough. So Douglas Lima is by far his biggest win.
For sure. And when was that? What year was that?
2012.
Jesus fucking Christ. There you go.
He has not fought anybody since 2012.
Literally.
So Ben Askren's legacy is that everything that's ever said about him will always be hyperbole.
Yeah.
It will always be,
listen,
well, man, he's one of the greatest, man.
Ben Askren's legacy.
You have no evidence of that.
Yeah, Ben Askren's legacy ended in 2012.
Yeah.
I mean, when he fought Douglas Lima, like, that was it. I mean, hopefully he's pulling some bullshit. And, 6 months or a year from now, we see that he signs with the UFC and we get to finally find these things. Now, maybe this is the whole retirement thing. That's what this whole jive is about.
I really hope so. I understand not liking the UFC, and I understand wanting to be like, hey, I don't want to support what they're doing. But at the end of the day, they have the collection of the best fighters.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a reason why fighters, now granted, we have had fighters go from the UFC to Bellator and lose, but for the most part,
oh yeah.
I would even forgive him if he was in Bellator still. If he was still in Bellator and he was still fighting in that division.
If he was going back to Bellator now, I'd be
if he was fighting Lorenz Larkin, if he was fighting these
Roy
guys
McDonald and shit.
I would.
And even Douglas Lima now in a rematch. I mean, it's 5 years, Jack. That's enough. That is enough time to make dramatic changes.
I would have a lot more respect, but I think he's getting out of here. He hasn't taken very much damage in his career. He's going to retire probably undefeated. And
give him that.
Listen. Good for him. I'm not shitting on him in that. I'm even saying, but you can't ever call yourself the best. And anyone who refers to them as the best, again, it's just hyperbole.
Not even close.
Because you can't. There's no evidence of that at all.
Not even close. I mean, the best. Come on. I mean, he never even fought nobody of note.
No, you got to beat some guys that have names behind them.
And you can say, and listen. This is why you have got to sign with the UFC, because you can say all day long what you think. I mean, nothing's funner than arguing with a hardcore MMA fan about Fedor. I mean, because he is their god. If you're a real hardcore MMA god, there's a good chance that Fedor is your guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, and I love Fedor, but you can cherry pick his career and say, well, it's easy to look good when you're fighting guys nicknamed Zulu.
Right.
I mean, no wonder you knocked those creeps out in the first round, man. You know what I mean? Fuck Brett Rogers. Where's he at now? Last time I heard, this is no bullshit. Last thing I heard about Brett Rogers, I heard he was fucking filling up men at some department store, making them take fucking cock grabs and shit like that. I swear to God. I was like, what the fuck? He was like getting fucking little white boys in the corner, like elder bearmans, and like sticking his hands on her pants and shit. I swear to Christ. He went to jail for that shit.
Yeah.
So
that's Ben Askren's legacy.
Yeah, kind of sad, man, because we don't really know what he could have done. He might have been great. He might be great, but you got to sign with the UFC, man, or at least maybe Bellator now. You got to sign with one of those two fucking places.
Yeah, you have to do more than
prove it. Prove it.
I mean, honestly, it's like I hate to make it sound so.
Look at DJ. DJ's in the fucking UFC and he's having a hard time proving it. Cocksucker, please. You think you're going to prove it from one?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Let's close out, buddy.
There it is.
Thanks for joining us. This has been LoudMouth MMA. You can find the podcast at LoudMouth MMA, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, all that jazz. So please go find the podcast. Follow us on social media at LoudMouth MMA. If you're watching this on the video form, this is not where this normally exists. So that's why it looks so kind of plain, because we're just kind of starting to add video. But there's definitely more stuff that we want to do here. So please go find us on iTunes.
Yeah, and if you're watching this, share it. Hit the fucking. I can't stand these people that watch it and don't share. Hit the share button.
Share it.
I share everything. You're on your fucking phone. It's real quick. It's real easy. Share the fucking video. Your Twitter timeline's not that important. Fucking you. Share the shit.
Where can we find you, Fred?
Kirby_MMA. KIRBY_MMA. And you'll find all of this shit.
There we go.
There we go.
See you, Fred.
Later, man.
Take away the very life we live and get slumped by the ones who wanna fight for this. I've been slicing hits without a license, bitch. You move now, but you know you need to vibe with this.
Soldier to the death for me. To my last breath, pump for my life, fresh lungs. Some kill for the recipe. If it all burn down, which one of us gonna run? Which one finna place of glory? Short Andy and with a long story. Maybe we want